born at a party in a barn with a guitar strapped across my arm. So I learned to play.
Hello and welcome to the Hogs Happy Hour here on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. I'm your host Blake, joined by Jason, and Ashton will be joining us later. Hopefully you didn't get blown away by the tornado that was possibly going down his street. But we're going to start off the show today with an SEC preview. We have our buddy Dave Shumate from the SEC Unfiltered. And also, you can find him at Mach 10 Sports as well on X. So, Dave, welcome back.
Fellas, how y'all been?
It's been hot in Arkansas, except for this week. It's been pretty
gorgeous. That's why I don't have my studio set up. So I'm in the kitchen in our obviously as you can see the kitchen. What do we think though, boys? We fired up for the backs this year. We fired up for the Hogs.
Tempered expectations.
Yeah. The sports season was awful last year. You know, football was awful. Tied into basketball with high expectations, and it didn't go as well. And then tie that into baseball. The three major sports. It was not a fun sports season for us Razorbacks.
Not a banner year in Fayetteville this year.
Yeah, that's
so. In y'all's opinion, before we get, I know y'all are going to ask me some questions. Do y'all like the direction the Razorbacks are going under the leadership of Sam Pittman, or y'all kind of like, I like a new flavor a little bit? I mean, what y'all is I feel like I can't get a vibe of the Arkansas fan base. I feel like they like him, obviously. They like him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things, it's like, first year, 2020 COVID year, fired everybody up. Second year kind of fired everybody up. But 22, 23 kind of tempered expectation, and now it kind of feels like it's the odd year. You're either going to have 3 good seasons, 2 bad, because we're 2-2 so far. It's kind of, I don't know. It kind of feels like people are kind of. I mean, y'all tell me. Y'all boot me.
I'm ready for a change. I mean, honestly, to me, should have been gone last season. If we have a bad season this year, it's a whole another year wasted.
What do y'all think? Y'all think 6 keeps him?
I think he's going. I think either way, he won't be here next year, whether he retires or gets fired.
That's how I feel. It just kind of feels like one of those doors are going to open. It's just a good chance one of those doors. I mean, what would y'all put at Sam Pittman's back in general? 20, 30%? Or y'all thinking full?
I'm thinking 25% because he's player. And I don't know if you've paid attention to Arkansas recruiting. He's not getting the in-state talent. They're going to LSU, Missouri,
I saw they missed the top
Kansas State.
So far.
So, kids are not wanting to play for him.
4 of those guys? Y'all think they would have taken all 4 of those guys from the natural state?
I think if they have a decent year this year, all those guys will commit to Arkansas.
Yeah.
I just think those kids see what Arkansas is right now, and it's not very bright. And, the future is not very bright. But if you win, that could change that.
But the whole course of college recruiting has been changed over the last few years, so it doesn't. I mean, it's not going to surprise me much anymore. If an Arkansas kid doesn't want to play for Arkansas, he's going to go wherever he can get the most money.
Well, y'all tell me. I mean, from working it always felt like once A&M got into the league, it kind of hurt Arkansas from a recruiting standpoint in the footprint of like Texas, just because really it was them and LSU for the longest that could kind of be like, all right, we're the 2 closest teams to the state of Texas. Do y'all want to come play in the SEC? And that's something you could sell. A&M comes in. They're learning the hard way now. Oklahoma and Texas are in the league. And I remember when I was at A&M, we always used to sell playing in the SEC, having that logo on the side of your jersey. You're the only team in the state of Texas that could sell that. Obviously, they can't sell that anymore. I mean, we used to talk to defensive kids all the time in the state. Like, dude, this was back in 2018, but I think it had been like 15 years. Like the Big 12 went on a streak of no first-round defensive players. It was just like the conference as a whole. Y'all remember people were putting up 40 points a game. I mean, there really weren't many great individual players from an NFL perspective. But I feel like A&M's feeling that a little bit. And I feel like back in 2012 when A&M came in the league, it kind of – I don't think myself, I don't think really many people even realized it at the time. But it kind of started being like, Man, and even when the state of Arkansas has a top kid in it, like other teams are from other schools with national brands are going to come try to pick that kid off too.
Yeah, I don't think it's A&M more than it is Drinkwitz at Mizzou. Because he's a Arkansas guy, so he knows the state, he knows the high school coaches. So
he would be
he can come in.
Does Hunter Yurchik go empty the bank to try to bring Eli Drinkwitz home?
I mean, he had a chance. He had a chance at Kiffin. He had a chance at Drinkwitz, and we went with the offensive line coach from Georgia. So,
Well, maybe with like the hiring of basketball, maybe he can see how that ignites a fan base. Maybe we can make a good football hire that will ignite the football fan base again.
I know we're talking football here, guys, but I haven't talked to y'all since. Were y'all fired up about the Cal hire?
Oh yeah, the team he has assembled. When last time we talked, we didn't have any players, but I mean, you just look at that roster, top to bottom. It's loaded.
Yeah, Arkansas I think's in that top 4 in the SEC heading into the season.
But we know Kentucky's history in the tournament, so we don't. I'm not getting too excited, but just based off of the players, it's a great roster.
Yeah.
I think he assembled it a little bit differently than I think he has been at Kentucky.
Tweaked it some, knowing you can't go as – I mean, you can be talented all you want. Like you said, what wins in March, you got to have some kind of veteran.
Yeah.
In a one-game elimination tournament, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to put Dave on the hot seat here with these SEC questions. First one is, what will be the challenge for these newcomers in Texas and Oklahoma coming into the SEC?
I'll be honest with you. I think their rosters are obviously. I mean, Josh Pate said he didn't think there was as big of a gap between Georgia and some other teams in the SEC. And I wouldn't necessarily go that far. I think there's somewhat of a gap, but I would say from a Texas-Oklahoma perspective, I think your roster, your top 40 is kind of there. I mean, I think obviously Sark and them have a year up on Brent Venables and Oklahoma just from a time standpoint. But I think both teams would have finished in the top 5. I think Venables would have finished in the top 5. I looked it up one time, and it's the recruiting rankings. But I think he'd have finished in the top 5 all 3 classes he's had at Oklahoma if they were in the SEC. So like he's competing with the most. We've seen Texas's classes. It's the same. I think their top 40 roster, their depth is there. I just think it's going to be a little bit of a rude awakening when, like, I'm looking at Texas's schedule here. They get Oklahoma and Georgia back-to-back. You don't really see – like in the Big 12, they didn't really ever go get Oklahoma and K-State back-to-back. The Big 12 tried to schedule it out a little bit. You may go get Oklahoma, then go to Ames and play Iowa State, and that's been real hit or miss. I mean, sometimes they're a 6-8-win team, sometimes with a losing record. I mean, it'll be interesting them finishing that gauntlet of – and I should say it's a gauntlet. It could be – but Florida at Arkansas, Kentucky at home, and at A&M to finish the year. Because, I mean, I think Greg McElroy said it best one time. There's a difference between going to Ames, Iowa, and then going to Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville. I feel like if you go bring your C- game to Arkansas, there's a better chance you're going to get beat than a C- game when you go to Texas Tech. We've seen Texas eat those wins out all the time. I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to happen against Arkansas potentially. I mean, I know they play November 16th, but I think that could be a tough game. But I think where's Arkansas's mentality at that point? Your season can be down the drain, or you're really playing for 8-9 wins, maybe. Who knows? But I think really the schedule. The schedule is going to – the back-to-back weeks. I mean, I think everybody talks about Florida having the toughest schedule, and I think overall from top to bottom it is because they played the big 3 in their state too in Miami, UCF, and Florida State. But I think Oklahoma's conference schedule is probably tough. It's probably tougher from top to bottom. Open up with Tennessee and then at Auburn. I think Oklahoma's season is going to be – you're going to know about Oklahoma after heading into their first bye week on October 5th. By the start of October – through the first month of the season, we will know about the Oklahoma Sooners in conference play because Tennessee at home is going to be a big one. Josh Heupel returning. And then at Auburn. And Auburn's probably going to be undefeated going into that game unless they lose to Cal because their first 4 – or they lose – unless they lose to Arkansas. But I think Auburn's
that's fine.
I think Auburn will be favored in that game. Auburn will be favored going into that game. But, I mean, Oklahoma's schedule speaks for itself. I mean, they go on a streak here of Texas, South Carolina, at Ole Miss, at Missouri, Alabama, and at LSU. I just think the back-to-back weeks, to answer your question, is really what's going to be the adjustment in the league. I think the roster depth's just going to be there, but that's going to be put to the test just in these consecutive weeks.
Yeah, that's our opinion too. It's the grind of the SEC. You're not playing Oklahoma and then going to go playing Iowa State.
Well, y'all can attest to this. You are somewhat in that footprint too, with being in the Big 12. The Big 12 was kind of there was so much inconsistency in that league. If you always kind of had Texas, you kind of knew where they were like TCU up, then really down. Iowa State, oh man, they're going to go win 8-9 games. We'll go win 5. Oklahoma State, we'll go play for the Big 12 title. We won't make a bowl the next year. Like, you know what I mean? It's a real up and down league where it was just like you couldn't really find the landmines until you were in the midst of that season. And most of the times there weren't just two daunting back-to-back games.
Yeah. I will say, Texas got a taste of the SEC a couple years ago when they came to Fayetteville and we ran them out of the stadium. That's just a small taste of being on the road. EA Sports thinks we're the 23rd hardest atmosphere or whatever. But, think about going, these SEC big stadiums that you have to play in. It's not, every Saturday it's packed and the fans are very well hydrated.
You said it. He kind of got held, but he's kind of right. If you're a season ticket holder and you're one of these teams I'm pulling up the Texas guy. I wrote a preseason match. I know their schedule.
Yeah.
Like I know it well, but off that. Their road games this year. If you're a season ticket holder, Texas fans are probably season ticket holders at Vanderbilt, but at Vanderbilt, at Arkansas, and at A&M, you get excited. If you're an Arkansas fan or an A&M fan, obviously, you're fired up to see Texas on your season ticket. Like, oh, man, Texas comes down. That's a good team. Like, they are everyone's kind of big game. It's a national brand. People want to go put the horns down, beat Texas. That's just kind of he's right in a way. I don't think the kid really meant it as, hey, we're the best team in everybody's schedule. I just think, like, hey, we get people's attention when we come to town.
Well, one thing that Texas is going to have to adjust is, the SEC is not going to baby them. They're not top of the league here. They're not going to get all the favorite treatments that they've gotten over the years in the Big 12.
I thought they kind of got a pretty beneficial schedule to open the season. I don't know if that was by purpose.
Yeah.
But then they screwed to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's is a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about surprise team or teams in the SEC.
I think Texas A&M is going to be pretty good if they can get the quarterback situation figured out. If Connor Weigman stays healthy, he develops under Colin Klein, which will be interesting because Colin Klein's coming over from K-State. We all remember him as a player. He was a Heisman finalist, played at K-State, Kansas State. He's really had quarterbacks he's liked to run between the tackles with Skylar Thompson and Will Howard, who's now at Ohio State. That's not Connor Weigman's strengths. Now, I'm sure Colin Klein's a smart guy. They're going to adjust and play within his strengths. But I think they do have some weapons around him. Moose Muhammad, Noah Thomas, Janae Walker, guys like that. They have not really proven weapons, but on film, you put the film on, they flash at times. If Moose Muhammad can actually get out of the doghouse, probably could change of scenery a little bit. Or I guess I should say from a coaching standpoint, from everything I've heard, it should help him. But I think the offensive line, they have some guys back. I think defensively, Mike Elko doesn't have bad defenses. He's never had a defense I would turn bad. Even going back to his Bowling Green days, Bowling Green, Wake Forest, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, back-to-back bowl trips at Duke. They're going to be fundamentally sound and schematically sound on defense. So I think if they can stay healthy at the quarterback offensive line spot, I think Texas A&M is going to be that surprise team. I think that can finish. I personally in my magazine have them finishing fifth. I think they're going to be pretty good this year.
All right. Ashton has joined the chat here.
Yes. You survived the Nader?
Yeah, man. Movie was kind of cheesy, but kind of good at the same time.
I thought you had a legitimate – they were making it sound like you had a legitimate tornado on the street. You went to see the movie?
It's a tornado wrangler now.
Yep.
I'm actually going to see the movie Saturday, so that's funny. So good. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Man, I'd say it was pretty good. I'd say it was good. Yeah. Yeah, my wife wanted to see it because of the main character. So
what's that guy's name? He's kind of taken over some theatrical movies.
Out of Glenn Powell or something. I don't know. I can't compete with him looks wise, Dave. This is all the Lord has given me. All right. So there's nothing I can do.
You're better looking than him. Don't let anybody tell you differently.
You just need a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're.
I'm excited to go see it on Saturday. I've only heard one bad review from my buddy, but he I don't know why. I guess he went in with thinking it's Academy Award winning.
So the Tornado Crew is from Arkansas. So.
Oh, cool.
So and they portray us as some rednecks, which is semi-accurate if we're talking about Blake.
Yeah, if we're talking about my region of Arkansas, it's very accurate.
Very accurate.
Yeah.
Well, what are we talking about? What was Dave talking about?
Well, we just talked about the surprise teams.
And he said A&M. I heard him say that.
A&M, and I'll say a team I'm higher on after media days. I think Tennessee's going to be better than I expect. I mean, I had them 9-3, 10-2 range. I feel a little bit closer to 10-2. I think they're going to be better. I think their front seven on defense is going to be really stout.
So that quarterback,
Nico.
Yeah.
Just Nico.
Yeah. So I remember watching him play in the bowl game, and I thought to myself, this team's going to be tough next year.
Yeah.
He came into the game and the way he controlled the flow. And it was kind of weird to me to think, here's this kid who he looks like he's been playing all year long, and he just comes right into the game and just everybody just kind of went with the flow with him and didn't look like he hadn't been playing all season long. That kind of scares me as far as how good Tennessee could be this year.
No, absolutely. I mean, he started that game, looked pretty solid. I mean, the numbers aren't going to blow you away, but you're right. Actually, he looked comfortable. He's going to have weapons on the outside. The two-lane transfer, Chris Brazzell, should be good. If Cooper Mays, the center, stays healthy, they should be good. I think that's where they struggled at Florida last year. I mean, I think a little game to underestimate with them is probably that NC State game. I think in Charlotte's going to be a little tougher than people are expecting for them. I think a lot of people are giving them that win already. I think they will win it. I just think it'll be a pretty good game. Again, if Tennessee can figure out that secondary, they probably got the best defensive player in the league heading into the 24 season in James Pierce. I think they're going to be pretty good if they can just be sufficient on the back end.
Why is it that like teams like NC State, teams like Oklahoma State, those teams, it seems like they're always right on the cusp of being really good.
Yeah.
And then like one or two games just kind of ruins their entire season.
You're right. That's a good comparison from the ACC Big 12. It's just like consistency. They'll go have like a big win, like Oklahoma State. I think we'll go beat Oklahoma and then go lose to South Alabama by 30 at home. I mean, I know that didn't happen in chronologically order, but it happened last year. They lost at home by South Alabama by 30, and then a couple of weeks later, actually, they beat Oklahoma. And I think it's just the consistency. I don't know. I think they've just been very consistent. Like you said, State's that team, like when they're picked high, they underachieve. But then Dave Doran's team, when they're like picked 6-6, the hot seat year for them, will go win 9 games.
Yeah.
They got 17 out of 22 starters back. They should be pretty good next year. They underachieve.
Right.
All right. So the flip side, and it's okay if you say Arkansas with this one. Most disappointing.
I got Arkansas pegged pretty well. I don't have the ultimate expectations, but I'm not like down on them either.
Yeah.
Disappointing team. Give me LSU. I think LSU's going to be fine on offense. They're obviously not going to go average 45 points a game, but I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to be fine. They got the best offensive line in the league heading in. Running backs, Caleb Jackson, they'll be fine. Josh Williams, they'll be fine. Tight end, Mason Smith. It's defense, man. I think offensively they'll be fine, but defense, the lack of continuity on the defensive line since Brian Kelly's been there until now with Bo Davis, it's been baffling. I mean, they lost their third best interior D lineman last year, Jordan Jefferson. Because who they had last year? They had Mason Smith, Mekhi Wingo, Jordan Jefferson, the West Virginia transfer. He would be by far their best interior guy this year. It wouldn't even be close. He looked like Glenn Dorsey compared to the guys they have on the interior. I mean, they got Jalen Lee and Jacoby and Guillory who are in like their 4th, 5th years. Y'all know now, especially a school like LSU in the SEC. If you aren't producing, like not like, oh, he's our 5th guy in the interior. No, these guys haven't played and they're in their 4th or 5th year. I don't know if they just been getting scholarship or what. They've been hanging around. I'm not real jacked about that. I think it's got to be somewhat sufficient up front. I know they're going to try to be more balanced, probably not air it out as much this year, play a little ball control, because I think they know they're not going to be good on defense and they can't go outscore people this year. But with that becomes a challenge of, and y'all know it's tough to do 12 weeks every week. And I feel like the style they're going to have to do is set the tone, get early leads, because I think if they get down, they're going to have a hard time coming back because I think the defense is going to give up points. And if you're going to go be a ball control offense and try to go compete for the SEC out there, you're going to have to start and control the game every week. That's a tough ask in the SEC every week. That's why I think I don't think they're like some 6-6, 7-5 team. I think they're 8-4, 9-3. And I'd say right now, until I'm proven defensively, closer to that probably 8-4 mark. I just think the defense, and I think Blake Baker coming over from Missouri, them hiring Bo Davis for the defensive line, that's going to save Brian Kelly's tenure, in my opinion. I think it's going to save his tenure. They're going to be fine long term. I just think this year they've done such a bad job the previous 3 classes under Brian Kelly because just the changes up front on the defensive line. I think it's going to be somewhat of a rebuilding year for them up front. So I think it's closer to 8-4, 9-3. I don't really think they really compete for the SEC this year.
I do find it interesting that Blake Baker jumped ship after Mizzou loses 3 of its best corners, loses their best defensive lineman. Cody Schrader's not around any longer in the backfield. You got a Georgia State transfer that they're really going to lean on heavily. Of course you got Brady Cook and Luther Burden back from Mizzou, but Blake Baker jumping ship heading to LSU seems like maybe the writing's on the wall for Mizzou. Maybe they overachieve.
The thing I don't understand sorry, go ahead, Asher.
So I was just thinking, how well does Missouri thrive in the limelight under Eli Drinkwitz?
I think it's a fair question because I feel like sometimes you see on social media these Missouri fans will start beating their chest, and it's like, look, I think Missouri's going to win 9 games almost off schedule alone this year.
Oh, yeah.
But it's almost like they forget. You realize that was Eli Drinkwitz's first winning season in 4 seasons in Columbia, right, guys? I'm not trying to rain on your parade, but let's don't go get pissed off if someone doesn't going to put you in the top 4 or making the playoffs this year. Because I'm with you. Offense going to be fine. I think Kirby Moore, the OC, coming back. You mentioned Brady Cook. They moved Luther Burden everywhere. They're going to be fine offensively. You don't lose all 3 of your best players up front. Darius Robinson, your best 2 corners.
Darius Robinson.
Linebacker, Tyrone Hopper. And then 3 coaches on that side of the ball, your defensive line coach, your coordinator, and your secondary coach. Missouri doesn't – I'm not saying they're going to be bad on defense. I'm just saying let's don't act like you just go pick up where you left off. That doesn't – the best teams don't do that with that much turnover, much less Missouri.
Yeah. What about Kentucky? To me, Kentucky can either be the most surprising or the most disappointing.
I think they're a legitimate 8-4, 9-3 team. I think they got 10 starters back on defense. They may have a top 3 defensive front. We can talk about linebackers and defensive line. They got probably the best interior defensive lineman in the league in Deion Walker. They got Jamon Dumas-Johnson, backer, transfer from Georgia, who's going to start for them. I think they're going to be good on defense, but they normally are. The big difference for them, as we all know, can they stay healthy on the offensive line, and can they get any kind of production at the quarterback position? I know they had Devin Leary 2 years ago, but he didn't get the proper protection. Can Brock Vandagriff, the Georgia transfer, be that guy? They got a new OC, Bush Hampton. I think you're going to see something you haven't seen with Kentucky in a while. I think Vandagriff's going to be used in the run game from a schematic standpoint, something you never saw with Devin Leary or Will Levis. So I think that's going to be a factor. If that offensive line stays healthy, I think Kentucky's going to be 8-4, 9-3. Big game in the conference here, week 2. I think it's a must-win for both teams. When South Carolina travels to Lexington, that's a must-win for both teams if they want to go 8-9, win 8-9 games. I think Kentucky gets that win. I actually think Kentucky's going to be 8-4, 9-3.
All right. Top 5 SEC team. Now, I'm pretty sure number 1's Georgia, but from there, it's kind of a toss-up.
Right. I mean, right now, we sit here on July 25th, right before the 6 o'clock Central Time, Standard Time hour. I'm going to go Georgia 1, Texas 2, Ole Miss 3, Alabama 4. And I wouldn't have said this before media days, but I'm going to move them up. I'm going to go Tennessee 5.
Interesting.
I would put Mizzou. I would put Mizzou up there just based off the schedule.
See, I'm not going off the record. I'm sure if they were playing on a neutral field, I think Tennessee would be right now.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm with you. I mean, look, I'm pulling up Missouri's schedule. Right? I mean, you're right. But Missouri's schedule is I get the confidence from Missouri fans. I really do because you're like, we have everybody back on offense. We just be decent on it. I mean, I said it on the show. If they go win at Texas A&M on October 5th, because there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, they're going to be undefeated 4-0 rolling into it because they open up with Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, and Vandy. They should be 4-0 unless Bill O'Brien pulls something out of his ass first year in Boston. Then they have a bye week and go at A&M. If they win at A&M and are 5-0, and this is just me saying, I think 10-2 in the SEC gets you in. So they're going to have to lose 3 of their last 7 to not make the playoffs. They go at UMass, which is probably the most randomly scheduled game we had this year in college football. Auburn at home, Missouri at Alabama. Let's just say they lose it. I don't think that's a definitive loss for them, but let's just say they lose it. Oklahoma at home. If they're rolling in 6-1, they're probably going to be favored in that game at home. Let's give it to them. 7-1 at South Carolina, 8-1 at Mississippi State, 9-1. And I'm off a game here, but then finish up with you guys, Arkansas at home, which they would be favored in if they only come in with one loss. If they win at A&M to go 5-0, I don't see them losing 3 of their last 7.
No, I don't. I mean, but what's going to happen is they're going to sign Drink to a huge contract extension, and who knows what's going to happen when Brady Cook and
you're right.
all those guys leave.
I mean, I've heard some guys I've talked to. Hunter Yurchik is going to push hard. I mean, if there's a change in Arkansas, I think the 2 leading candidates I've heard are Petrino and Eli Drinkwitz. And I think if there was a change at Florida, which who knows if Scott Strickland gets another football hire, that would be his 3rd AD football hire. Most ADs, as y'all know, do not get 3 football hires. So they may be making an AD change too. But I think somebody will go. I think Florida would go big after Eli Drinkwitz or Lane Kiffin, and I think Arkansas is going to make him say no.
Yeah. All right, last question is Ashton's question. He just couldn't wait to ask this.
My phone cut out. Could you hear me, Blake?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Petrino, let's say, well, let's not even worry about last year. Petrino this year, does the way Petrino calls plays and the way his offense flows at Arkansas this year, if everything goes well, does his offense and his way of calling things steal Arkansas a game or 2 this season?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the problem myself when I look at Arkansas' schedule, and I have Arkansas going 6-6, but I feel like it's almost in my game-by-game predictions contradict literally what I'm about to say. But I feel like they have to win one of those first 2 road games. They kind of not because it's a must. I mean, you still have after that 8 more games, but it just feels like from a momentum standpoint, they got to set some kind of momentum in motion to get some stuff rolling. I mean, I think they get one of those home game dudes against Tennessee or LSU. Something just tells me they win one of those home games. I don't know why. I lean LSU. If I was going to pick one, I would think it'd be the LSU game. And from a Tennessee standpoint, as y'all know, I think Josh Heupel drops a road game every year. He shouldn't. I mean, last year they lost at Florida. They were way better in Florida. Alabama, they were up 13.5 and were a complete no-show in the second half. And Alabama ended up pulling away, winning by double digits. I think Arkansas gets one of those road games because of Bobby Petrino. I know they love Taylor Green. We'll see when they get in the live action. I think offensively, I mean, again, they have everybody back at the receiver spot. I don't really think there's a true dude, but again, there's a lot to be said for having basically the whole group back. Satigna, Andrew Armstrong's back. But the kid I like is what's his name? The kid is transferred from Purdue. Hold on, where is the
Broden?
The Broden kid?
Yeah, Tyrone Broden.
Yeah. And then to answer your question, Ashton, I think Bobby Petrino's play calling gets them one of those 2 home games against either Tennessee or LSU.
Yeah, and I couldn't help.
I lean LSU.
I couldn't help but think. I was talking to Blake about this. I couldn't help but think that if Petrino was calling plays for Arkansas last year, is Sam Pittman as much on the hot seat this year as he if we steal that game against Mississippi State that we should have won. We should have won against Mississippi State.
That's not one of the ugliest football games you've ever seen. No offense.
Yeah. And then
we were
maybe
there.
a game or 2 elsewhere, but Sam Pittman's probably not literally what we would call coaching for his job this year. If we have someone better calling plays, I'm hoping Sam has learned his lesson about the good old boy way of doing things is hire your buddies to help you run the program. And me and Blake, and we talked about this last year, towards the end of right when this came out, is the hiring of Petrino is the pulling out of all stops to try to make sure you keep your job. So I think Bobby has the guy he wants at quarterback. That's just the style of quarterback he's coached.
Yeah.
Big dudes, just big dudes.
No, yeah. And I mean, y'all know just as well as I do. I think Petrino thinks in his head he's auditioning for this job. So, like, it's not just to collecting a paycheck and then I'm going to go right off the sunset. I think he really wants this job. I think a lot of donors, boosters like him. I think he knows he has a legitimate shot if and where, like you said, the record didn't shake out to what Hunter Yurchek thinks it should be, or Sam potentially goes and retires. Do y'all think 6-6 he keeps the job? Let's say he doesn't retire, but they go 6-6. What do y'all think?
If he goes 6-6, I think he'll keep his job.
Oh yeah.
I saw somebody made a video out there. It was like he had to go win 9 games. Like 9 games.
No. But here's why I think he keeps his job at 6-6. Arkansas right now has had to fight tooth and nail over this recruiting class. I think we're currently sitting at number 31. And I'm going to tell you right now, Dave, a month ago, I would have said to you that this is the worst recruiting class that I've seen in years. And he's just quietly, I don't know how he's done it. They quietly have put together a decent class. And there's one kid that is on the cusp of being a Razorback. Hopefully Reginald Vaughn commits to the Razorbacks, who's kind of like borderline 3-star, 4-star area. But if you get rid of Pittman, I'm just telling you, based off of you look at any position, any coach, any program, you're going to lose players from that recruiting class the moment you get rid of a coach.
That's something you got to factor in. You're right.
Exactly. And so if you're a Razorback fan, as much as you wanted Sam gone at the end of last year, you better be rooting like crazy that he is able to keep his job and does well enough, because you just feel like you'll be starting over from scratch again.
No, I agree.
Just not where we want to be as Razorback fans.
And I don't know how much – I'm not against the Bobby Petrino hire. I don't know how much continuity Bobby Petrino really brings a lot of it, especially the defensive players who he has no real connection to. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And before we let you go, you're talking about Arkansas' schedule. You probably know this, but they don't play. They play at a different stadium for 5 straight weeks to start the season. They go Little Rock, then they go to Stillwater, Fayetteville, Auburn, and then Cowboy Stadium. So it's a weird little.
Do y'all agree with that? You feel like for Arkansas to get kind of like 7+ wins, they kind of probably got to get one of those first 2 road ones?
Yeah, like we've said, probably last year that the Oklahoma State game is the game.
It's a tone set.
Yep.
Shoot, I see guys like Josh Payton. I saw someone else that picked Oklahoma State to win the Big 12, which, I mean, that's a pretty open league. I mean, Utah's probably the most consistent team rolling into it. They've never been in the Big 12.
Yeah, when your quarterback is 35 years old, it doesn't.
Rising's collecting Social Security here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a wide receiver that's a little bit older.
Oh yeah, true. We do. From he was a baseball player that transferred in to Arkansas. He's like, I think he'll turn 30. This coming up during the season. I can't think of his name right now, but Ashton's the baseball guy. I'm sure he can.
Which player are we talking about?
That receiver that transferred in, that baseball player. He's like our age.
Monte
Ledbetter?
No.
Couldn't tell you.
The major league player.
Oh yeah, Monte Harris.
Yeah.
Former Florida Marlin. He's like 32, 33 years old. But I'm gonna tell you, he was highly recruited out of high school. So I think it was a 4-star prospect to like Nebraska, and a couple other schools. But he chose the baseball route, and he had an okay. I mean, not a great career by any means, but he had an okay stint in the majors. But he is known for his speed. He's a speed guy, and he's a big dude. He's a big dude that can run. So we'll see. Maybe he factors in. Maybe he doesn't. But ultimately, Dave, what you said, you've got to win one of those first 2 road games. And that's going to – and it's done this for the last 10, 20 years for Arkansas. Those first 3 games, if those don't go well, you can almost write it down. It doesn't go well for Arkansas the rest of the season. Some teams can recover from stuff like that. But with the way our schedule sets up, you've got to win.
You got to get out of the gate.
2 of the first 3.
I don't know, hot's the word, but you got to survive that out of the gate the September month.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. As always, Dave, it's a pleasure for you to join us.
Appreciate
We always
y'all.
enjoy your insights, and we're about a month away.
Fall camp
Yeah.
next week for most teams.
Yeah, Hogs. Hogs start on Thursday. Thursday night against UAPB.
Yeah, my buddy was telling me they start practice on Tuesday.
Yep. So, So again, follow Dave Shumate at Mach 10 Sports. He's also on the SEC Unfiltered as well. Does a great job there. So
appreciate you,
anyway,
fellas.
Yes, sir. Till next time.
Till next time, fellas.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So to the Arkansas Razorbacks. So just a few records. Dave had us at 6-6. Wes today on the Sports Buffet had us at 7-5, and Jonathan Sturdivant, who's the co-host of the Sports Buffet, had us at 5-7. So let's just talk about the offense, defense real quickly before we get into our predictions. So offense, you got Taylor Green transferring in from Boise State. If you played college football 25, he's pretty fast. So I've been playing that game quite a bit here lately. But offensive line should be improved. We got some transfers in. And we got an actual offensive line coach, and Sam Pittman is helping them out as well. All of the receivers return, which is surprising because there's a new receivers coach, a new offensive coordinator. So, what y'all's thoughts on the offense?
Nowhere to go but up.
Offensively, I think, man, if the offense doesn't get it going early, then I don't know how much hope I have for this team, because you do not want to, historically speaking, have to rely on the defense to win you games at Arkansas. You've got to be able to put the points on the board.
I mean, we did that last year, depending on the defense so much throughout the year. And you can tell at the end of the year that defense was done.
Yeah, and I think now this is a hot take. I think Arkansas has the best tight end group in the entire SEC. I mean, you had a freshman All-American who got hurt. You got Gums, he's not bad. You got I'm trying to think of his name, Washington. Yeah, I mean, and we know Bobby Petrino loves the tight ends. So offense, I'm not worried about.
No, I mean, did you hear Sam Pittman at media days? It felt like it was kind of a shot maybe at KJ about one of his comments.
Yeah, about leadership, actually having leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the players, I forgot who, I think it was Andrew Armstrong. There's so many interviews on SEC Media Days, but basically said Taylor Green's leadership style is not to cuss you out. It is to actually show you what's wrong. So I think with Rocket and KJ leaving, it's, as we know as former coaches, you can have cancer. Cancer's in the locker room, and that's probably what those two were.
I don't know. I mean, we brought that up last season. We think it's, chemistry problem with KJ.
Yeah.
I'm looking at our schedule here, boys, and I can't help but be pessimistic. I can't help but see a 4-8 record.
Yeah.
Maybe 5-7. I think to me, Sam's going to lose his job, and I can't help but look and say, going into the Ole Miss game, sitting there. I mean, that would leave us with 4 games left. We would be sitting there at 2-6. I wouldn't be surprised if we were 2-8 or 2-6, whatever. 2-6 at that point.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we get our predictions, I want to Hogs Plus posted this video today of Bobby Petrino and Taylor Green, It's just a preview of what they have in stored.
All right, we're going to start with video today. We're going to start with curls. All right, we're going to watch you, we're going to watch Lamar, and we're going to watch Ryan Mallett. We want to be able to learn from them. One thing you're going to see from Lamar more than anything is how he can quicken up his feet and his release. And then Ryan, you know, is the ability to be on time. And then for all three of you, what I want you to notice is the accuracy.
So it's just, you know, they got a good series coming up. So
And that's pretty cool that you can, as a coach, can go, okay, to your current quarterback, we're going to watch some videos of two dudes that I coached. one of them's Lamar Jackson,
He's,
who
what,
was almost
two-
MVP, and then
Yeah.
the other one was Ryan Mallett, who had just an absolutely phenomenal career at Arkansas.
All right, so let's go game by game. Okay, the first one shouldn't take too long, but open up the season in Little Rock Thursday against the Golden Lions of UAPB. So, win, lose, or draw? What do you got?
It's going to be a tough one, but I think we'll pull it out.
I got Arkansas 50, UAPB 10.
Yeah, it should be. Whatever the line is, you should bet, you know, the over, you know. 'Cause,
Even if they allow that.
yeah. So, all right. Now, the next one is the game of the year, according to everybody. Oklahoma State. Now, it's at Oklahoma State. It is at 11 o'clock. We do know that kickoff time.
I think he's frozen there.
We lost Blake. Blake just got frozen in time.
Jason?
I think okay. What do you have for the score for Arkansas Oklahoma State there?
I didn't put any scores to any of my predictions, but I put us down as a win for this one. I think we can win it.
Boy, back from the Matrix is Blake Hogs.
Well, we think.
Blake, you look as slow as you're moving there. You look like you've been drinking a little bit. I have Arkansas. All right, I have Arkansas losing that game 38-28.
Yeah, I mean, I can see us losing the game, but it's just a guess. I mean, maybe we can pull it out.
All right, in game 3, we got UAB coming into Fayetteville against Arkansas. That's middle of the afternoon, probably.
Yeah, that's 3 o'clock game.
Yeah, 3 o'clock game. I got Arkansas. Maybe not winning big, but I've got Arkansas winning that game and moving us to 2-1.
I have them winning that game as well. Which
so
the first real home game they should win.
So Jason, you have us sitting at 3-0 currently. I've got us sitting at 2-1. And moving into week number 4 is Arkansas versus Auburn at Auburn. Hugh Freeze, who got the best of us last year. I have Arkansas losing that game.
I do as well. I have us losing against Auburn.
Okay. So that would move, for me, move us to 2-2, move us to 3-1 for you. Moving into week number 5, our least favorite game to play is that bugaboo that we have on our shoulders and back every year is Texas A&M. Does Arkansas go to, or is it Arlington again?
Yeah.
Is Arkansas going to Arlington this year with Bobby Petrino calling the plays and beat Texas A&M?
I have us winning that game.
Wow.
I mean, typically that game is played fairly close between the two teams.
Yeah.
With hopefully our improvement in offense, hopefully that can push us over the edge to finally beat Texas A&M.
You know what, Jason? I'm going to give us a win.
I mean,
I'm going to give us a win, but a super, super close game.
It's going to depend on how good the offense is.
I'm going to say it's going to be a game within 3 points. 1, 2, or 3 points.
I can agree. I agree with you on that. It will be a close one.
That will move us, for me, that would move us to 3-2, I believe. 3-2 for me.
Yeah, and I got
All
4-2.
All right, so 3-2. No, with me 3-2. You'd be at 4-1.
Oh yeah, sorry, 4-1. Yeah.
All right. So week number 6, Tennessee at Arkansas. I have got us struggling to stop Tennessee with the style of quarterback that they have. Quarterback likes to run and move the pocket, and he's a big kid, can cover a lot of ground. There's a scary face right there. I have Arkansas losing that game, moving us to 3-3.
I have them losing too.
So that would move us to 4-2 in your book. And then we have a week off, first bye week, which is going to give us another full week to prepare for our historically been our biggest rival, but things have changed here last several years. LSU coming into Arkansas. I have Arkansas winning that game.
Oh. I have us losing that game.
I have it being a 7-point game at the highest, which would move us to 4-3 in my book. And now me and you, Jason, are at 4-3 together. And now this next game, in my mind,
it's a toss-up.
I think you've got to win this game. I think you've got to win this game. The only problem is it's at Mississippi State. And Jeff Lebby in his first year at the helm for Mississippi State, his brother, is it brother-in-law or
in-law?
His in-law is not far away in Oxford. But for this Mississippi State squad, I have Arkansas winning, which would put us at 5-3.
I'm right there with you. I got them winning against Mississippi State.
All right, Jason, my man. All right. Well, you may not be my man on this next one. Ole Miss.
I don't know.
Ole Miss coming into Fayetteville. Can Arkansas upset Grumpy Lane Kiffin in that game?
I don't.
I don't think so either. Which moves us to 5-4. Blake, I hope you're writing all of this down because this is some exhilarating stuff here.
Yeah, I missed half of it, but we'll have to go back through because we have different opinions. I'll tell you.
So me and Jason are both at 5-4, but we have a couple of different games different.
Yeah.
Texas coming to Arkansas. I'm just going to say it's an early game. It's 11 a.m. You can go ahead and write it down. I have us at 5-5.
I have an L.
Yeah, don't have us even standing a chance to stop them. So there's really not much to be said about that Texas game. I think Quinn Ewers and Texas will own us, although Landon Jackson said he's looking forward to playing against Texas, which I bet there's a little bit of frustration in his household because his brother, I believe his brother chose to be a Texas Longhorn, and for the longest time looked like he was a for sure lock to be a Razorback. So could still be, I suppose, right? I guess he still could be. I don't think he hasn't signed a letter of intent or anything, but who knows? We'll see. Louisiana Tech, Arkansas. I think his name is Sonny Cumbie, the head coach of Louisiana Tech, is on the hot seat, just like Sam Pittman is. And I have us winning, making Sonny's hot seat a little warmer, and perhaps Sam's hot seat a little cooler, moving us to 6-5.
If he's still there, but yes, I do have us winning. I have us winning that game.
And then. Oh, I hate this game. I hate playing Missouri. I have not liked playing Missouri. I cannot stand Eli Drinkwitz. Dave Shumate mentioned just a little bit ago is if it came down to perhaps offering Eli Drinkwitz a job and will we throw all of our money at him? Probably. We probably would throw a lot of money at him, but I don't like the guy. He just rubs me the wrong way. But still, regardless of whether I like the guy or not, I have us losing at Missouri, putting us at 6-6 for the season.
I put us as a W for that one. I think this is the year.
Wow. So 6-6 is my prediction, and
I'm thinking Missouri may be trying to overlook us that last game of the year.
Yeah. And Jason, what's yours?
7-5.
7-5.
7-5.
All right. Now, going back to drink, I think, Ashton, the reason you don't like them is your recent Facebook post. You talked about how you hate losing to coaches that look like they never played the game.
Yeah,
And
I
if you,
think he looks like he should be out golfing on a golf course somewhere with that daggone visor he wears. There is nothing more frustrating than to lose to a guy who looks like he sat in front of a computer all day and then came out and coached a football game in his spare time. But
yeah,
let's be honest, dude's a genius. Dude knows how to call an offense.
yep,
Hey, you got that practice in AA. You're
yep.
playing with his Xbox.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So just I'm quickly go through mine. Says, it's raining in here in Southeast Arkansas, so that means there's no internet. So or it cuts out. But Oklahoma State is a win.
Hey, you forgot what UAPB?
Oh well, that's a win. So 2-0. Then UAB, it's a win. That's 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to Auburn, that's a loss. You go to Jerry's World, that's a loss. You go to Tennessee, comes to town, that's a loss. So you start off 3-0, now you're at 3-3.
Yeah.
And then LSU, we get one of those SEC wins that we need. So we're at 4-3.
Okay.
We beat Mississippi State. They put us at 5-3.
Yeah.
Here's my upset lock of the year. We beat Ole Miss because Lane Kiffin struggles against Arkansas.
Okay.
Just the way it is. And then we lose to Texas. We beat Louisiana Tech, and Missouri beats us. So I got 7-5. 2,
All right. The Hogs.
No, hold on.
7-5.
Not 7-5. 6-6. 6-6. I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah.
Are you sure? You need to go back and count that again.
All right. So because we're winning against UAPB, Oklahoma State, and UAB.
Mm-hmm.
And then we beat LSU, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. Oh, and Louisiana Tech. I forgot. The
I'm
non-SEC
telling you
stuff.
right now.
7-5.
So to our viewers that do watch this, we want to hear your feedback on where do you think Arkansas finishes in the SEC? What do you think record wise? Who do we upset? Who upsets us? Maybe Mississippi State. I think in my mind we should win that game, but who knows? We'd like to see what your thoughts are and where you think Arkansas finishes. And does Sam Pittman finish the season as the head coach for the Arkansas Razorbacks?
Yeah. Say, Dave, we talked to Dave about that before you got on, and I told him I think he's gone regardless. Either he retires or gets fired or resigns or something.
Okay.
So, but Barry Odom's name has been thrown around. I don't want to rehire.
No,
I don't.
I don't either.
Give us some new blood. But all right, before we go, what's going to be the most surprising thing about this Razorback team?
We'll have 2 or 3 players on the All SEC offensive team.
Yeah, that's bold because we had 0 on the first and second team and third team. I think.
I want to go with the special teams. I don't think our field goal percentages are going to drop too far.
Let's hope not, because it's not very good.
We lost our kicker, but he was pretty spot on.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. Hopefully, with the special teams, but
yeah, mine's going to be is Arkansas is going to be in the top 3 rushing in the SEC. I think we're going to be able to run the ball, whether that's with the quarterback or the running back. I think we've got a decent group of running backs.
yeah, I don't necessarily disagree.
So
Here's a question. Will Monte Harrison score a receiving touchdown this year and become the oldest player?
I think he's got a chance in the first game.
I'm actually kind of curious now what the oldest player is to have a receiving touchdown in a game.
He's going to have some opportunities against UAPB and Louisiana Tech. I think those are your guaranteed wins if there ever is one.
Right. Yeah.
So now I will say, I think the ceiling for Arkansas is 8 wins. I'm not saying they're going to win 8. I just think they have the potential to win 8 games.
Yeah. Ceiling is for me. Ceiling is 7.
Yeah.
That's the I think as best as we can do is 7-5. And if we have 7-5, I think we had a great season. I think we had a great season at 7-5. So,
well, anything else for the good people out there, that have a great internet connection. They don't live here in the armpit of Arkansas.
No, other than I watch his podcast. So I'll give him a shout out. Our listeners. Hey, if you have time, go over and watch. How is it? Tuss Talk. What is it called?
Tuss Talk with Ty.
With Ty, man, he really does a good job with his podcast and his YouTube live. I would suggest our listeners, if you have time, go listen to his stuff. He's a funny dude. Gets a lot of viewers, and man, he has some good material. He really does some good insight on some things. So not only I encourage you to watch us too, but also go show him some love if you have the time to.
All right, Jason, any closing thoughts?
No. I mean, every day we're getting closer to the start of football season. Of course, our predictions may change by the time the season even gets here.
Oh yeah. I mean, it just depends on injuries and things of that nature.
Things of that nature.
Hey, we're trying not to say that as much.
Yeah, I know. And I will say here at 4-Star Sports Media, make sure you check out the Sports Buffet with Wes and Jonathan Sturdivant. I watched a little bit of it today. Got involved with the conversation they were having about the Razorbacks, and Wes he thinks we're going to beat Tennessee. That's the upset that he sees, but yeah, just they've had some great guests this week. I don't know if y'all know of Coach Larry Fedora, used to be North Carolina and Southern Miss coach. They had him on this week, so it was a great interview. So be sure to check them out. They're live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So it's good stuff.
All right.
All right, now, Till, we might come on next week. I don't know, but we'll see. Probably closer to kickoff.
Y'all might be on next week. I'll be in Mexico.
Oh yeah, you gotta,
Well, they still have Wi-Fi there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as a teacher, who plans a cruise in August?
I just live in this house. Buddy. I just live in this house. My wife runs this show.
But all right, again, like, subscribe, share, do all that. And if you're making plans to go to games, make sure you go to SeatGeek.com. Use promo code 4-Star Sports Media to receive $20 off your first order. All right, so until next time.
All right, guys. See y'all later.
So yeah.